Hello everyone. So this video I'm going to be doing an update of my base tour. This will be base tour 4.0. I've added 2 new bases since the last base tour, so I figured I would go ahead and add in another video showcasing a little bit more in depth maybe of the bases I already have, plus the new one, which is white and teal. So we're going to start here at orange, which is my main base. I'll have timestamps for each base if you just want to jump from orange to purple, because we're going to go orange, purple, white, red, blue, green, teal, yellow, and then finishing up by my logo. I'll have timestamps for all that. There will be links in the description below for different base builds, such as my mushroom inspired base build, which is my main base. So that link will be in the description below for the this particular how-to build video. So the sun's coming up now because it just woke up, did the whole sleep eat thing. So you see the mushroom kind of shape to it, you know, and I don't mean the red and white polka dot mushrooms that are in the game, but there's mushrooms near the tree that are the yellow dome type mushrooms, and that's where I was kind of going with this, was the more of a dome type. So I have the tower, the production building, and then the main building where the storage and the bed is. So let's go take a look. I hear Bob underneath the rocks. I gotta be careful because Bob the Bombardier is an angry little bastard. He's around here somewhere. I'm not really trying to find Bob. So I have as you see, I have a fondness for bounce webs versus stairs. So the first building is the production room. I have the water with the storage behind it. I have the smoothie maker right here in this little kind of nook behind the stairs. Nothing underneath the stairs, even though there's space. A little bit of decoration. The cooking pit, and a couple of jerky racks for making food. The top room up here is really kind of unused. I have the 2 mushroom gardens up here. I don't really use them. I also have my chandeliers in each of the 2 buildings, which I'll have a video on how I made my chandeliers linked in the description as well. Now we come over to the main building where the storage stuff is. I have my stuffed bombardier. His name's Bill. That's Bob's brother. Bob's mad because his brother's stuffed up here in the room. I have all of my boxes. This is all of my stuff for whatever I've got all around the world in the game. I have a video on my storage and how I've done my storage. That'll be linked in the description as well, as far as why this is labeled a certain way, as well as how to set up some storage in different bases. I also have, as you see in front of me, weed stems and grass planks. These 3 boxes with the 3 little people on them are for when people want to play multiplayer with me. They each have their own box full of armor, weapons, and a little bit of food, healing smoothies maybe, and water. And that's in each box. Everybody's got a full set of pretty much everything you would need. Some spinning wheels, workbench. I got my weapons mounted underneath the windows, since I don't really have any solid walls in this base. Even up here I don't, which is why the lights are either right up here or down here. The bed, the little junk drawer box, because you know your kitchen has a junk drawer. Every one of my bases has that too. My different armor dummies. There's not one right here because it'd be in the way of coming upstairs. And then a box full of armor. This armor dummy right here is weird, and it makes extra armor. Not that I need it. All right. So I'm gonna go over here. I will have a link in the description as well for making my bounce web tower designs. There's 4 of them that I use in my world. This is my favorite one, the 6-sided hexagon. As you can see, literally just A and D all the way up. From here, like I said, we will go on over to purple. I'm checking to make sure I have a dandelion tough to quit, because when I get close, I'm going to actually drop off the line and start looking at it from the bottom up versus the top down. All right. As you see, I cut down and cleared out a lot of grass so I could have a decent view of my base. Some people, you know, it's an upside down pyramid or inverted pyramid with it attached to the base like that. It could look like a shuttlecock. If you're sliding into it from the side because of the bounce web tower, it looks like a spinning top. But it's bounce web towers to get in. Now this is a tricky one to get into because you got to hit that bounce web tower almost dead center, or else that happens. So you got to jump onto it, slam Max's head into the ceiling a few times, give him a couple of concussions, and then finally he gets in. So the first area is just the entrance. Is a small space, not much in here. I could add stuff, but I don't really feel the need to. Same with this room. And I know people are like, man, that's just wasted space. Well, that's just me. That's how I wanted to do it. I mean, this, you could literally make that be your roof and just have a little bit smaller pyramid. This is just has empty space. Basically, yes, there's mushrooms in here, but I don't use them. If the game gives us more stuff where I need space, I've got extra space. Same with the last base I was in. Got my spinning webs here on the main floor where all the storage is at. The storage setup, which, like I said, that link will be in the description on how I set this up on the angle like that. What is this? The workbench, smoothie station, cooking pit. Another chandelier, which is attached to the walls on the roof, and I'll point that out when I get up there. This cannot be attached like this without something above it to anchor it. Bed, junk drawer box, armor dummies, and a few windows. This base has very little windows, so without these lights, it gets very dark. This base requires a lot more light. Now, the roof, being as big as it is, allows me to spread everything out and have a very nice, open, clean look to this. And still have this whole side open for the incoming zip lines. I don't have to worry about hitting my feet. Because you see these zip lines coming in this way, my feet get close to hitting the jerky racks, which are along this side here. Then this other side is going to be where the water is, the water tank. You see the light from the chandelier beneath. I built this little enclosed space and put a water tank in it because this wall that I'm standing in front of is what the chandelier is anchored to. I built this in place and then put the chandelier underneath it. This is the wall. If I delete this wall, you see how it says supporting one, it will delete the chandelier. And then, of course, pallet storage, because you gotta have pallet. I have to have pallet storage in all my bases. Personal preference. But that is my inverted pyramid base with its marker right next to the receiving line, because I need to move a few of my other bases so that their markers are next to the receiving lines, so that when you're trying to figure out what line you want to hop onto, when you're at the top of the towers, it's easier to pick which one we got. Alright, from purple, we will now head over to white base. Or, you know, I will... There we go. So white is not my newest, it's my second newest. My newest one is teal. I completed that over the weekend. But this one I completed not long ago either. My Canopy style base. It is built up on the upper branches of the Fallen Oak branch. Where you do the Fallen Oak branch mission for Burgle to put the little marker in, that is actually the back anchor for the base. So we'll slide on over here, and you see its marker is close to its receiving line, so that I can see where I'm coming from, because you see I'm coming from all over the place. So on the ground floor, or bottom floor, not ground floor, I have the jerky racks. I've got the water tanks, the water storage, good bit of light, and you know, every base. I've had viewers ask why. Why put mushroom gardens in if you don't use them? Because why not? And of course a smoothie maker, because mushrooms, smoothie maker, and smoothie question mark. And why not put in a cooking pit as well? We'll go up to the second floor where I left part of the roof open as a little bit different design for me, with the boxes stacked up here in the back, which is again going to be a part of that video that I have linked down there down below, which is the storage options video. The workbench, which makes sense if you need to get supplies to build something, you put the two close together. And a bed up here in the corner with a box on it, because every base has a junk drawer box. Why this one isn't labeled, I'm not 100% sure. And a few spinning wheels here and there. Armor dummies are evenly spaced out. There are 7 current sets. Excuse me. And you see I have 7 of them here. I know the B set is coming, and therefore I have an armor dummy waiting for the B set. Up on the very roof, which you see is kind of... I could have closed that in, but I didn't want to. I wanted something a little different. I've got weed stem storage on one side. I've got grass plank storage on the other. Now, there's one part of the space I didn't go over yet, and I'm about to hop down and go do that real quick. And that is to get to the porch. This base is also anchored on the porch. This base would have been built on the porch had they not put the jack-o'-lantern there over Halloween, or October, when they did the October update and put in the decoration like they did the Christmas light you see on the gutter up there. I was really worried about this coming back towards this area right here where the blackness is, but you don't fall in. You just stand on it. Found that on stream. Thought it was funny. But yes, this base is now anchored back here to the ground back here. But this little canopy base is kind of small, but it works. I mean, if you're looking for a small base that has everything in it, but still open and nice and clean looking, this is a good base design, I think. Well, I guess I'm kind of biased. But this base also gives me good access to the Sprig Forest, which is almost directly beneath it. And a whole bunch of sap off of the Fallen Oak branch. So now, like I said in the beginning of the video, we're going to go over to Red, my favorite of all bases. A lot of people ask me, why is Red my favorite? Red is got everything you need. It's well laid out. It's wide open. It's not cluttered. It just has a nice clean look to it. And as well as I was able to attach a master or a grand staircase and a motel to the side, which that'll all be part of this video when I get over here. Red is now the size of about 3 or 4 of the little base I just left. So once I get here, I'm actually going to turn around. I'm going to drop straight down to the ground. Now, I don't have any clue why this stuff keeps growing through, but it does. So that's kind of annoying. But I have my entrance down here, which is more or less blocked by clover leaves. Yeah. Little entrance, kind of defensive looking, tower looking thing with a couple of stuffed aphids in it with the, oh my god, what just happened look on their face. You go up the grand staircase, and all this is just here for show. This literally isn't doing much other than maybe supporting that up there, which also doesn't have much there. You get to the top of the stairs. If you're not paying attention or don't remember that these are stuffed bombardiers, it's always something not to look forward to when you come up. I also have the stuffed soldier ants up here. I have more space to add stuff right here if I wanted to, because, well, it's all well supported. So I could add more right here if I needed to, but I didn't. It's just more for look. So when you come up, you have the motel to the left and the base to the right. So go towards the base. Out here in the front, more water than I'll ever need. And that's okay. And then underneath the second floor, you'll see, or at the ground floor, I have water tanks. I have 3 jerky racks on this side, 3 on that side. A couple of mushroom gardens laid out along with lights and little handrails that lead in a straight out the back, because there's a set of stairs back here towards the grass and the hedge base, the hedge lab, because this is my hedge base. Plenty of storage. I need to continue restocking the weed stems, as well in the grass pallets. They all look to be full except for this bottom right one. Then we take the stairs up. I've always contemplated taking these stairs down and putting in a bounce soil, but so far I've left it as is. On the front here, I have all my weapon racks, a little bit of a trophy wall. We got our workbench and all of the spinning wheels. I got 10 spinning wheels there, so I can make 40 silk rope at a time. And in here is the pantry. And literally everything has its own box. I have so many boxes that each different part of the ant has its own box. Each different part of the spider has its own box. Bombardiers, each one is all split up to have more than enough space. And I still have, as you see, some boxes with no labels because they're not being used. I have no use for them, as in I have nothing to put in them. One of these boxes, I need to take that stuff with me. But that is my pantry, and I do have a video on this particular base build, and I will link that in the description below. And then up here is the bed area with a couple of armor dummies, another mega chandelier. I think that's like 14 lights. Doesn't do a whole lot, but it does look pretty good from a distance, as long as you're close enough where the lights are on. And then again, the bed and the junk drawer box. And as far as armor dummies, I have the underwater stuff when I'm after clay. If I'm building, every base has its own ant armor. When I go into the hedge lab, I want my ladybug armor to heal. And this spider armor is missing a shoulder pad from the looks of it, and it is. So now we will go from here, and I believe I said I was going to blue next. Yes, let's go to blue next. The reason we're going blue to green to teal is because blue and teal can't connect, and I'll point that out when I get ready to leave. All right, so now we're going to go towards blue. And blue is my oldest standing base. It is not my first base. It is my oldest standing base. My first base I initially tore down and moved, because my oldest base was on that flat rock that's over there by orange, which is where I tell everybody is the best place to put a new base, is this rock right here. But this is blue, and I'm going to drop down and deal with that spider. So y'all get to see a little bit of a spider fight. Not really a fight if the spider is not going to turn and fight me. But he's in the way, so he has to die. Okay. So I initially built blue, and it was just on the first 3 pylons. There wasn't the 4th and 5th with a massive tower next to it, because zip lines weren't in the game at that time. That's how old the space is. And I built it, and I wanted to have that mega castle look to the front. And that's what I went with. And it's one of the only places you're going to find these types of handrails. Because at that time, I had plenty of acorn shells. And then I started building and kept building. Anyway, so this is all linked in right off the edge of this tree root. You just see there's the tree. This is the eastern flower bed. There are the red roses, the juice box, and I forget which drink cane that is. But you come off of here, and I just built it out nice and flat and smooth. And this whole section of the base is actually hanging out over the middle of nothing. There is nothing underneath here right now. But in this area, I have smoothie maker, mushroom gardens, workbench, and a couple of jerky racks. I need a few more, but with zip lines, I don't have to worry about the meat spoiling. I just go to another base and put it over there. Excuse me, I had to get something to drink. Now, I also have boxes, and surprisingly, what looks like a lot of boxes is actually not enough. I'm missing a box for Weevil parts. I know that for a fact. And then on the tallest and first pillar is where I put my storage. I do have a build video for this base as well. That'll be linked in the description below. So I have my little bit of weed stems, which is all taken up when I built my tree over there. And then a little bit of grass. I have the top of this wide open. He's going to be a problem if he starts stealing my stuff. I don't want to take chances of him stealing my stuff. I'll have to, with the top of this like this, when bees are added to the game, I do believe bees will be working around these flowers where we get pollen from. Because you can pick up pollen off the ground over there. And pollen is a discharge from the flowers that bees go nuts over. I do believe we will be getting bee lures. And I'll be putting a bee lure up here to draw in a bee so I can get the different parts of the bee to make all my other stuff. You know, armor and spear and stuff. A couple of spinning wheels, which were, you know, this space was old and I had to find some space, so I managed to squeeze in 5 of them right there. Up on the third pillar is where I got my water. These 2 interior ones initially went across the back, you know, effectively blocking it all in. I had to take them down and turn them sideways so I could go out the side here onto the 4th and then up to the 5th pillar, which is where the bounce web tower is. Once again, adding a lot more. What am I thinking of here? Pebblet foundations. As you can look down, you'll see a lot of spike strips and everything. I do try to have spike strips kind of control where some of the bugs and critters go. So on the way up, I realized I couldn't put the receiving anchor down there low because the grass blades would block where which base could get here. So I raised it up, stuck a little platform out the side, and put the anchor right here, and all my bases can actually reach over and connect to it. And like I said, this is the build video. The build video is linked below in the description. So from here, we're gonna go over to green. Now the reason we're not going to teal first is if I were to try to connect this, we'll go all the way around. We're gonna make a trip. As you see, it says connection blocked. Because I cannot go out the side of the bounce up tower, so I have to go this way. So now we're going to go towards my aircraft carrier, or green base. I do have a video for how I built that, and that will be linked in the description below. Earlier in this video, I mentioned the orange mushrooms, and that's what I was talking about right there. Alright, so this part of the video is going to be me going over what used to be a boathouse, and I will actually link that description in the video as well. But I used to have a boathouse right here. And then the pond update happened, and they put a rock through the middle of my building. Luckily, I had emptied it out by then. This building was completely empty other than one water tank right here and a few lights and some, grass and stuff like that. But I'm not tearing it down. I'm leaving it here just because I want to. It was going to be my Port Authority building where you'd have to, quote unquote, go through the Port Authority to get onto the ship, because it had a door out the backside to where you could go out, and this was for, getting off of the boat. But now that's all changed. So from the root, from the tree, I can run down here using the buoyant foundations, which mine are actually a little bit lower in the water than they normally would sit because of how I initially built this boat. Initially, this had grass floors, and they were so low that the water was actually coming up through the grass floor just a little bit. Down near the bottom of the boat, we have the brig. I have 3 little jail cells, complete with 1 light and 1 lean-to. Oh, that's weird. At each end of the boat, there is a wet entry, so I can get into the boat from the pond directly. I don't have to go around doing kind of anything as far as going out that way. I can just come into the boat straight from the pond. And then we'll go up to the next floor. On the second floor is where I have some armor dummies, a couple of weapon racks, some bunk beds, as in like a ship would have bunk beds, as well as each bunk bed has its locker. There's 6 lockers, 6 bunk beds, and my junk box, which I always have in every base. A little bit of a desk because decorations they're nice. Some more storage out here. I think this is 21 boxes plus. Once the pond update happened, I added more boxes to accommodate more of the stuff from the pond. And then some spinning wheels, smoothie station, workbench. What I don't have in this base, I'm realizing now, is a cooking station, which I could easily just put that anywhere. There's so much space in this base. We go up to the top. Now this is the only base that has 2 receiving anchors, one at the bow, one at the stern, because this way, with the tree in the way, red can't reach the front of the boat, but it can reach the back of the boat. And orange, because of that laser, purple, because of that laser, can't reach the front, but it can reach the back. So having a super long base like this and an anchor at each end, kind of useful. And then up here on the top, we have the grass storage system, the grass pallets, and the weed stem, which you see I'm very depleted on because of that base over there. My, I guess, Christmas tree style base. I got the room underneath. This room down here with the sturdy walls has that weed stem across the top, making a nice little square. And it actually worked out perfect that I could put 6 mushroom gardens in here, more for aesthetics, to make it look like this weed stem along the ground was intentional. And it kind of was, kind of wasn't. We have water towards the bow of the weed stem, of the bounce web tower. And then jerky racks to the stern. There is a video, like I said, on how I made this, and now it is in that link is in the description below. Now from here, we will head to my newest base that I just made this weekend. And I will have that video coming up on that very soon. You can call it a tree, you can call it a Christmas tree, whatever you like. And I'm actually going to pause the video and wait till the sun is up so you can get a better view of that. So we'll be back on the next day in game. Give me just a second. There we go. I'll be back in just a bit. Alright, and we're back. So I just want to wait till the sun was coming up, because as you can see, it has a kind of a tree look to it, maybe pyramid look, but that is my newest base. We call it Teal. So go ahead and slide back over there. And I'll keep the marker turned off just so you can kind of get a good look at it as I'm sliding towards it. So this is that base that if you don't catch it at the right angle, it doesn't look, you might not be able to see kind of what I was going with there, but you can see from here, it actually has kind of a tree look to it. So the receiving area is actually down here, down low. And the marker for this base is right next to the receiving area. When I was building this base, there was actually a couple of roof pieces here, and the bottom section was open underneath where these handrails are, and I would send weed stems into the catch area, which was beneath here. I had the side open so I could get out from underneath there easily, but this way I could go from yellow to here, which you see is not connected because I moved the anchor. I could just send the weed stem straight across on the zip line without having to come over here by myself each time. Come over here myself each time, not by myself. So, set of stairs leads you up to here. Now this set of stairs, this little plank is for me to get the grass. And also, in case you fall off, you can always hop up here, hop back on. These blueprints aren't finished yet. I need to bring over some weed stems so that I can close in this side. I'm trying to find some support just so that one section of floor up here is not supporting the whole thing. But this is weed stem, bounce webs up. The reason the bounce webs are off to the side is when I was putting them right here, I would bounce on them and then they would go off like it was a machine gun. But you see how it says supporting 527. So I'm going to build all this whole side down here and try to get rid of that 527. So there are no bounce webs in here until you get to the very top, going up to the zip line area, because it's only 2 sections up. You know, 1 wall section, 2 wall sections. Zip lines cover over 3. I would be flying way too high to come up here to the main production area, which has a lot of space. I can always add more stuff to it. I've got some water collectors and containers. If you guys saw my riding the crow video, this is where I would jump off to jump on the crow's back, because he'll land right down there. Oh, he might be landing here now. Perfect timing, crow. So from here, you could just jump out and land on his back. And then grass storage, weed stem storage. Trying to keep it all open. You see it's very wide open, lots of space. I have 18 boxes on this side of the stairs. I have weapon racks, a little bit of a trophy wall, and another 18 boxes on this side. And I'm going to put a few things away in here while we're at it. So, helps I press the right button. Oh, there goes the bird. Sorry about that. And then from here up, so this is just your production and storage floor. Now we go up a floor, and it gets a little bit smaller. As you can see, it's going to get smaller and smaller as we go up. We got our spinning wheels here, armor dummies, and the bed. Now this floor is really big for this little bit of stuff. It could have easily fit on the floor above, as you see. But if you guys have ever been in my chat, been in my streams, or seen any of my videos, I don't build small. Like white base over there is really small compared to many of my other builds. I mean, I can see the inverted pyramid easily from here. My logo easily from here. And those who are wondering how I can see all the way across the yard with no blur, I'll link that in that video in the description below as well. Now this floor, as every base, as I think it was either JD or JJ, I can't remember which one, was asking, why do I have mushroom gardens in each base since I don't use them? Why not? And then this is going to be my next base build video, is how to build this one. So unfortunately that will not be linked in the description below, but if you are a subscriber to the channel, you will get a notification when I upload that video here soon. And then we'll go up from here, and the bounce web, like I mentioned earlier, up here to the top. So the 14 lights, kind of like the top of the tree, is all lit up. And now we're going to go from here. This one is so tall that it can connect to the top instead of it can connect to the outgoing of many of these other bases instead of having to connect to the bottom. So this one will connect directly into yellow, whereas all the rest of them connect to the anchor, which is on that rock where you see the little dot in the middle of the screen. It's on that rock right there. This one is high enough up to get a decent speed on the zip line to connect to the top of yellow base. But I'm actually going to drop down, because yellow base isn't just up there, it's also down here. You see the tower on the bottom. Yellow base is a couple of pieces put together. And that, I don't have a video on that, but that is coming. Yeah, all these weeds regrew. Nice. Alright, once I think I can clear this yellow flower, I'm going to drop down. And somebody's thinking, you should have Daredevil on. Well, that, yeah, I might take a little bit of health damage, but I take a lot of armor damage. So, yellow base is my rock wall base for when they open the back part of the upper part of the backyard. As you can see, I have to have a bounce web tower just to get up to the bottom edge of the base. And this is a this is the only spot where I have this particular tower design. Which is 10-sided with four floor sections, so I can kind of land in there. The reason I do that, I want to have a more controlled way up, especially going from there to where I'm standing when I'm bringing up the weed stems, which not all of them regrew. Oh, good. Then I have the little receiving, landing platforms kind of hanging out in the middle of nowhere. And then you go up in here, and a lot of spinning wheels, stacked pallet storage, which I have that's in the storage option video, which is linked below, on doing stacks like this for either grass or weed stem. Mushroom gardens in every base, because why not? A little bit of water and a lot of water storage. They're all full. Then up here, this is one place. This is the only base where I laid out the boxes instead of stacking them. I didn't want to block any of the views out the window. And I still have more room. If I wanted, I could put more boxes along there if I needed to. Or I could put a shelf, grass floor across the top here. And just do my boxes up there if I really wanted to get them lifted up. But I didn't want to do like I did in Orange. I wanted all my bases to be kind of different. So I got the cooking pit, smoothie station, workbench, all the different boxes which are all labeled. Some are empty, some aren't. Jerky racks, weapon racks on the outside of the bedroom. Armor dummies, chairs that we still can't sit in, and of course the bed, with the bounce web tower being right up here on top. Now from here, like I said, I'm going to finish up with my logo, which is a base in itself on the inside. And when they open up the part of the yard where they have that, you kind of can't see it, maybe you can, that black barbecue pit right there, which I have centered on the screen. When they open up that, what has been said is that's going to get knocked over and it's going to become a volcanic biome, with ash and everything. I will actually tear this down and move it closer. But for now, it's going to stay right here, just outside the under construction zone. So from the front, that's my logo with the R and then the second R. Now the doors, there's a door at each end in the foot, kind of like the Trojan horse. And I'll go through the whole thing real quick. This section, I left everything empty. At first I was putting stuff down here. I was putting blueprints. It's just blueprints in here for the stuff for in the base. And I was going to put, a few things down here like the mushroom garden and stuff, which I could. And other things in this area. And I thought, no, I can fit it all in the top. I can make a very minimalistic base as far as the interior goes. So with the stairs coming up, when you get up here, this is 2 sections wide. If you count from the end of this stair to the beginning of the stairs on that end, it's 11 floor sections long. But of course, you see there's 2 sections here and 2 sections on the other end that have stuff on them. Mushroom garden, workbench. And you see I already have the shelves in place to put the boxes in. I just don't put the boxes blueprints, because blueprints on top of blueprints, it's hard to see where the edge is. Because I like to have my boxes right at the edge. The bed right next to that with the junk drawer box. Armor dummy for the ant armor, because every base gets a set of ant armor for if I ever have to build or add to it or restock. As you see up top, grass and wheat stem storage, spinning wheels, a couple of jerky racks, and yes, there are some wheat stems in here from when I had extras. I ran them over here and put them on these dew collectors, and then some water storage. And like I said, the rest of it is completely empty. And there's nothing on the outside. I didn't want to mess up the aesthetic of the logo. And I will do a video on this, not because I think someone wants to put my logo in their game, but for the minimalistic base, for the little bitty, the complete base in a small space. But let me go ahead and hop down, try to avoid the stink bugs. Hey, look at that. That's what happens when your dandelion tuft does not want to pop out for you. Respawn. Luckily, I'm just down the wall here. So, I was going to head over to Orange and get one more look at the logo, but I'm going to go ahead and just continue running this way while I end the video. So if you guys like the content you see here and want to see more like that, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I stream 5 days a week on my YouTube, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday in the afternoons, typically starting between 3:30 and 4 Mountain Time. So you guys can stop by, say hi. If you have questions about the game or you're having issues with something, feel free to stop by and ask. I have no problem. Even if I'm busy doing something, I'll stop and help. It happens all the time, and I'm okay with that. That's kind of why I stream. But like I said, if you guys like that content, hit that like and subscribe button. Until the next video or the next stream, if you stop by a stream, you guys have a good one.